can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? Oh, who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord Almighty? And who can stop the Lord Almighty? Who can stop the Lord? Our God is the Lion of Judah. He's roaring with power and fighting our battles, and every knee will bow before you. Our God is the Lamb that was slain for the sin of the world. His blood breaks the chains, and every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. Oh, 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 oh. And every knee will bow before the Lion and the Lamb. When my heart is weary, my soul is weak, when it seems I can't traverse the trail before me, I survey the glory of your agony, and I find the will to fight for what's before me. 'Cause you ran the race, enduring for your glory. I fix my eyes on you, the founder and the finisher of our faith. I fix my eyes on you, and the solace in your suffering is my strength. As I fight to follow my righteous guide, and you train me to delight in all that's holy. Heal my broken body, cure my crooked stride, throw off every weight and sin that clings so closely. I will run the race, enduring for your glory. And I fix my eyes on you, the founder and the finisher of our faith. I fix my eyes on you, the solace in your suffering is my strength. solace in your suffering is my strength. The solace in your suffering is my strength. The solace in your suffering is my strength.
Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. 1 Corinthians 13.
Failure has called me friend, constantly condescends. Failure has called me friend. Fear has known my name, poison my heart within. Fear has known my name. Oh, the cross says that I'm not a failure. The arms show how far love would reach. The nails driven into my Savior, driving the fear out of me. The lies that condemned me are broken. The shackles are shattered by love. The word of a Father has spoken. Heaven declares it is done. So it is done. Mercy has called my name. Oh, what a sweet refrain. Mercy has called my name. Guilt has a heavy hand. Shame finds a way back in. So I hear your voice again. The cross says that I'm not a failure. The arms show how far love would reach. The nails driven into my Savior, driving the fear out of me. The lies that condemn me are broken. The shackles are shattered by love. The word of the Father has spoken, and heaven declares it is done. So it is done, it is finished. I am forgiven. I'm not defined by the things that I've done. You're my authority. You won't abandon me. I won't deny your love. So it is done, it is finished. I
The nails driven into my Savior, driving the fear out of me. The lies that condemn me are broken. The shackles are shattered by love. The word of the Father has spoken, and heaven declares it is done. So it is done. It is done. It is done. It is done.
Lord, thank you so much for this beautiful time of worship. Thank you so much that you listen to us, even in our imperfections. God, even when we make mistakes, you are there and you never, ever abandon us. I ask you to help us now focus on your word and really seek what it is you want us to know, and not what we think is right, but what you think is right. Thank you so much for every blessing you always give us, even the times that we don't notice them. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen. Thank you. You look pretty. Are you excited? Thank you, Joe.
What's up, everybody? Hey, can everyone just like come to the front a bit? Por favor. Would love that. So, thank you, Virginia. Setting the example. Danette, gonna one up her by going to the very front. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's amazing. All right. Well. How many of you ladies went to the sleepover thing? How many of you got enough rest? Yeah, nobody. Yeah. Yeah. Was it fun though? Y'all have a good time? It was cool. I heard that it got pretty real. Everyone was like crying, people were losing their minds and stuff.
And they were just playing games.
Yeah, we were just playing games. Yeah.
No, they were. They were crying while playing games.
Is that? Yeah.
That's what you told me somebody said.
It was so emotional.
was
that
like, and every time you tell us to do an activity, I start crying. That was the best.
Hey guys, let me just be real. Some of that is because y'all are tired, but the other part is that's why we do these things, because it's important for y'all to get away from the normalcy of, getting enough sleep and like having those deep and important conversations. If you're scattered in the back, it'd be nice. You don't have to sit in the front, but just kind of like come a little bit closer.
We can't see you at all. That's the thing.
We can't
Javi,
see
you look like a ghost back there.
Javi, we miss you. We miss you, dog. We want to see you. You did well on the bass today, bro. Let's get over for Javi, man. He does everything in this thing. Driving people home, playing the bass, preaching, teaching. We love you, Javi. All right. So today is going to be a little different. I've asked Ainer and Ruth to be here because today we're talking about marriage, and we've actually, and I mean we're married and we're not experts at it. Anyone that says we're experts on like being married, they're lying. They're lying, bro. Like nobody knows what they're doing. Nobody. And neither do we. But we've come up with a couple of things as to what we should be doing, and we've experienced obeying these things, and we want to share that with you. But this comes at the end of a series about relationships. Our series, if you don't know, is called It's Complicated. And we discussed different aspects of this and how it is complicated and how we should respond to it biblically. So we talked about our relationship with sexual sin, with temptation, and how that's complicated, how we should fight, and how there are things that are common between both genders, and how there are things that are gender specific, and how we can ask God to bring redemption into our lives in those aspects. And we've also talked about friendships. Madeline did a fantastic job, talking about that. I think we also spoke about nothing. Yeah, that's right. I was remembering the dinner that we had. We spoke about our role in the broader context of our community, and how we should be not only a friend to our friends, but our friend to our society, our community, to be a light and to be people of reconciliation. We talked about that, and today we're going to talk about marriage. And Sarah has some things that she wants to share about what I just said. So let her.
No, I was just going to say how exciting it is that we get to talk about marriage, and you guys get to hear something that I don't think we ever saw it. Like two younger couples of different times of getting married, getting advice from them, even though we said we don't really know much. But I mean, they're about to make a decade. Okay, just so you know. Yeah. So that's really cool. And we're about to make 3 years. So you got the big contrast here, which is really cool.
You got the honeymoon stage and
yeah.
And then let's
St.
try to fall
Patty's.
asleep as soon as the children will do.
So we're excited because you guys get to hear that, and I kind of wish we had that here, two young couples like that talk, and that we knew growing up. That would be really cool. But hey, here we are, and hopefully we all learn something together, and how important it is that we are going to be able to do this. This is something that if you listen closely, I promise you, because I remember growing up listening to just couples sitting down talking about these things, they will stay with you for the rest of your life. If you really focus, and you're going to get married one day, and you're going to remember the things that are going to be said here, and you're going to be like, wow, that's true. I remember that. So please focus. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, there's like a looming question about this topic. Probably for some of you in here, definitely for me as we were thinking about it, it's like, why? Like, why do these kids are kids, man. Like, some of you won't get married for another decade, you know? Some of you heard me say that and like almost died in your heart and be like, I can't wait 10 years. But like legit, like some of you will get, or more, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, but who cares, right? It's like, and this is what I think about. Like, what if you started planning for college like fall semester of, your first year of college? Like, you're going to go to Miami-Dade with me and with the rest of other people that don't plan, Like, it's just not going to go, like, maybe it'll go fine because it's just college, right? But, like, this is a big deal. This is a big deal in your life. Like, marriage is a big deal. And we want to talk about that. And I think that in my case, I may have a lot to say, but as far as, and I was telling Ruth just now before we got up here, I was like, because she wipes, she's a professional mom and she's wiping butts all day and like in the home, and so you give her a mic and it's like, I don't know what to say, but the fact is, like, she lives this stuff out, and she's not only a mom, but she's married to a grown child, and so she's a fantastic person, and I think, Sarah could brag for an hour about her husband. I could brag about him for an hour because, these are just people that, we're not perfect, man. We're not perfect, but we do want to be able to answer your questions. So as we introduce, there are 2 questions that we're going to ask, and then some standard ones, but we want to hear from you. So I have a mic in my hand. We all have a mic. Just, you have a question, so hold on to it. If you have a question, like, sorry, Danae, I didn't want to take your thunder, girl, but write it down. And then once we get into that section of the talk, like, we'll get into that. But we want to answer, between Sarah and I, we're going to answer 2 questions to kind of frame the night, and then we'll answer some questions, right? So the first question is, what is biblical marriage, right? Because we're not just asking, like, the bones of marriage in general, but we're asking more of a theological question, right? Like, what is biblical marriage? And you've probably heard a message about this. Maybe it piqued your interest. It showed up on YouTube, or you listened to Pastor talk about it, and it seemed very, like, maybe far-fetched, or maybe something super, like, complicated and spiritual, and I don't want it to be just that. It's definitely something mysterious about marriage, right? Marriage bears a lot of Christological imagery,
but it's also like it pictures Jesus a lot in like his life and his death and like his ministry with us. But it's also pretty simple. Like what God thinks about marriage is pretty simple. And there are 4 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah. 4 things that I want to share with regard to what biblical marriage is. And number 1, biblical marriage is the start of a new family. Wow, Joe, that's so amazing. Wow. How could you have thought about that? But it's true, right? I mean, I know like some of y'all will end up moving into your mom and dad's efficiency, but like that's fine, right? Because you know the struggle is real. But you're a new family, and what that means is this: that you're no longer, you know, just a daughter or a son, and your extended family essentially becomes mom and dad and sister and brother. It's crazy. My sister, who I shared a home with, is now my extended family. That's crazy. I mean, that term seems so, like, you know, cold and distant, you know, but it's the truth because it's a new family. The Bible says in Genesis 2:24, right at the beginning of the book, if you didn't know that, you know, welcome to the gathering. We're going to teach you. It says, therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast or cleave. Cleave, the word there is cleave, to connect to leave and cleave to his wife, and the wife, you know, as well. And they shall become one flesh. And so not only is this a new family being created, but 2 individuals are in a sense merging into one when it comes to the family, right? Like it is not just about me, you know, it's not just about Ruth, it's about us and what we mean as a family together. The next thing is this, that it's a good thing. The world that you and I live in, like, downplays marriage. And if you listen to the slick and, you know, just silly comments that you make about marriage, you'll realize, like, man, like I've been negatively influenced to look at marriage. And maybe you just heard, you know, people talking bad about marriage, like in your home, or maybe a TV show that you kind of just passively accepted as true. Like people want to say marriage is bad. It's like a legal contract with you and the government and somebody that one day will take your money. And like for sure there are terrible stories, but the Bible has something very different to say. It says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. This is Proverbs 18:22. And this, like, and it's vice versa, right? Like the woman who finds a husband finds a great thing. It's a great thing to get married. You should look forward to that. I hope that by the end of tonight that you are excited about what your life, like the prospect of marriage. Now, some of you are called to celibacy, but maybe not. Most of you are called to marriage. You know, most of you will be called to marriage, and that's a fantastic thing. You should be excited about that. And you shouldn't, you know, there's so many things that we want to say about like rushing it and stuff, but as far as like looking forward to that, it's awesome. I love being married. It's the best decision I've ever made. You know, it's awesome. Right, Ainer? Right, Ainer? Remember?
Yes.
Remember when we talked about having to say this? I'm just kidding, bro. I'm just kidding. No, come on, Dan, that is a joke. Okay, so the next thing is this, and this is the more complex, but it's very beautiful, and that marriage illustrates Jesus, right? And there's a passage in Ephesians chapter 5, verses 23 through 27, and it talks about wives, submit to your husbands as to the Lord, for the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church. So there's this like Christological like perspective of marriage, right? So the husband takes the role of Jesus. Not that I'm Jesus, but that I'm imitating Jesus. That if Jesus is the real thing, that the marriage is this act or play that takes course throughout the entirety of my life, and I'm imitating this character who is Jesus, and I love my wife, and I serve her, and I lead her. And then the Bible says that a wife, or husbands, loves your wife as Christ loved the church. And then later on it'll say, I don't think I have it here. Do I have it here? No, it's just for the husbands. But if you continue reading in these passages, it says, wives, submit to your husband in all fear of the Lord, right? As you were submitting to God. And it's crazy because, you know, that passage gets used and abused, right? But the truth is, it's like my wife, like in supporting me with all of my crazy ideas and all the places that we've gone, like she has trusted me in a way that no one should ever trust me, but she has. And in the fear of the Lord, I love her and I lead her, and she's trusting me. And that like literally whatever we've endeavored to do she's been like, you can literally do it. Like everyone else in the world is like, Joe, you can't do it. And she's like, yes, you can. And we get it done. It's like a miracle, because the truth is that there's this complementary relationship that happens between us. And it's because we're putting into practice like what is happening in reality in the church. Jesus is loving the church, and the church is effective. Like it's effective at making the work of Christ move throughout the world. And the last thing in this same chapter that I want to define biblical marriage as is that it is a covenant of love and respect. It's very simple. It's a man and a woman that create a new family, that seek to illustrate Christ, and their relationship is that of love and respect. It says in chapter 5, verse 33, however, let each one of you love his wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. It's very simple. Love and respect one another, and it's mutual, right? So it's not like I disrespect my wife because that's not very loving, and it's not like she doesn't not love me because she has to respect me like some sort of cold-hearted relationship. It is a mutuality where we say we're going to just do this forever. And so this is biblical marriage. It's not complicated. It's a little complex in its practice, but it's not complicated. Now, there are a couple of other questions I think Sarah wants. Maybe.
So there's going to be like 4 things that we could focus on tonight, which is, am I able? Am I ready? Am I willing? Am I prepared? So these are the top, like, am I able? Am I ready? Am I willing? Am I preparing? Preparing is the last.
Yeah, the act of preparing.
Yeah, preparing. So that's the stuff that we're going to try to be focusing on. I don't know if you want me to read this already or ask. I could. I don't know.
I think some of the, at least like the last part of it, am I preparing, is something that I like for them to be thinking about as we're answering your question.
I could say something at the beginning for the preparing thing. Is that what you wanted?
Yeah,
So coming from a person that was single for a while, right, at an older age, I would say this is something I found out as I grew with Christ. And I've told you guys this a million times, but it's literally this. Do you find, because the way you are preparing is like this. And you're not prepared unless this is, okay, do you find fullness, satisfaction, security in someone else, in your future partner? Do you seek that fullness in life, that emptiness, that, no, but I will become something or someone. It will not feel entirely like full until I find this future person. You know what? You're not ready. And you're not preparing. Preparing is all those things I said. Do you find fullness, satisfaction, security? All those things, are you finding them in Christ? And the preparation is finding them in Christ. Finding that fullness and security and identity, which is pretty much the main thing. My identity and who I am and everything I am, my fullness, because you know how it is, like, you complete me. No, he does not complete me. We are awesome together. They do not complete each other. They make a beautiful couple. God made that. But Jesus is what completes each and every one of us. So that's how you have to be preparing, finding that close and tight relationship with Jesus Christ. I had written here, the one that we already mentioned, do not be unequally yoked with unbelievers. That's a way to prepare. If you're not seeking to be with someone who is spiritually at the level that you should be, this is after you're like, okay, I found myself in Christ. I know who I am. I know he loves me, and I find fullness. We will falter at times, right? Like, till today, I'm still like, I suck, right? When that happens, I shouldn't go to him to feel great. I should go to Jesus. So that's the main thing. Another one I have is 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7, which is what we already read and we'll probably read again. Love is patient and kind. So these are the things you have to be doing to be prepared. Are you patient? Work on it. Are you kind? Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. It does not, I love this one. This is a major one for couples, okay? It does not insist on its own way. It does not insist. You don't know it all, and if you did, it does not matter. You have to compromise. Sometimes you have to compromise, and that's a big one. It is not irritable and resentful. Resentful. We forgive. We let it go. Remember, we talked about that. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Truth is a big one. Love bears all things, believes in all things, which is what he was saying with her. She believes in him. Hopes all things, endures all things. So I just wanted to keep it that simple with preparation.
And when I listen to you talk about that, I remember being there and listening to them. I mean, because we're not reinventing the wheel, right? It's like, hey, we should be preparing, right? Like anyone could have come up with that idea. It's like, hey, marriage is a big deal. We should prepare. But when you find out that maybe you're not like prepared, right? So you feel like you do a self-assessment and you're not prepared, then you feel like, okay, well then I should not get married. Like, you know what I mean? Okay, I guess I'm just not good enough, so this will never happen. It's like, wait a minute. And I don't know if like they ever like made it clear. It was like, oh, you're not prepared? Okay, just prepare. Like, oh, I'm not ready. Okay, let's get ready. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, we have to go on a trip. Did you pack your bag? No. Okay, we're not going. What? No. Of course we're going. Of course we're going. Pack your stuff, please, right now. Like, hurry up. Like, let's get ready. Oh, like, I don't know how to do it. Like, okay, let's bring people that know how to pack bags or whatever. I'm trying to work this illustration into what I'm saying. Like don't, like, throw in the towel. Like, oh, I'm not ready. Like, cool. Like, so is everyone ever for any good thing that they try to do. Like, I was not ready to get married. Period. I wasn't. I wasn't. You were. And y'all were super old when y'all got married. Us 21, 22, I don't even recognize myself at 22, you know? I was 21, even worse. The government said now you're allowed to drink. And the government also, like rental companies were like, you still can't get like them cheap rates at the rental company. Like the government and the rental companies, no, I couldn't. Till 25. Everyone knew that I wasn't ready for simple things like the ability to buy alcohol and the ability to rent a car. Like obviously, like getting married at that age is, I mean, it's great. It's wonderful. I don't regret it. But like, dude, was I ready to write a book about like, here's how to get ready for marriage? No, man. But did I still go on the trip? Like, I packed my bags on the way, man. Of course. God gives you the opportunity, and I think that I don't want to create worry or over, create a mind of super doubtfulness or whatever, and discourage you. Like, don't be discouraged, man. I'm not ready. Like, I'm a mess. Like, I look forward to a husband because my identity is wrapped up in a person that I don't even know who they are or if they exist, right? At this point, I mean, and it's just like, well, let's get that right. I don't ever want to discourage you. So, like everything we're gonna say, like, get prepared. You're not ready. Like, it doesn't mean like quit. It means like, let's get it right. Let's get it right. So we have questions. So does Danette, and we want to answer your questions. Now, Danette, we want to honor your question. Now, this is what I'd like. I'd like for during the question and answer time for you to address your question, either to everyone or to maybe someone in specific. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, they're ready to talk about it because they live this stuff. So cool.
Okay, this question is to Ruthie and Air, because I kind of want to hear what you guys have to say. So when you're married, like you hear things like advice or whatever. So what was like the biggest thing that came as a shock? Like you're married, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to do this. This is like a thing that married people do. Like, because, like, obviously, I'm pretty sure you got a bunch of advice, right? Like, you didn't just, here, go into the lines, then, you're married. You know what I mean? Like, and then when you were married, something that was like, this isn't a marriage? What? This is both of you.
This is
normal. Okay, mine isn't that deep, and it's not a task that I wasn't aware of, but it was, okay, just this is really, I'm gonna it's kind of off topic, but it's not. Just like a glimpse into our relationships. Sara and Joe, if you guys aren't aware, are extroverts, and Annette and I are introverts, okay? That doesn't mean we're shy. I mean, not all introverts are shy. Some introverts are shy. Okay, so they are the ones that talk, and we are the ones that, if we don't feel the need to, we don't talk. Okay, with that being said.
I don't feel that need a lot.
What do you think?
I don't feel that need a lot.
When you get married to someone, many times you're getting married to a polar opposite of yourself. That's not always the case. So don't think, oh, but the person I currently like, they're kind of pretty much exactly like me. That doesn't matter. But a lot of the time, people get married to people that are polar opposites of themselves. And in this case, that's what happened. We are polar opposites in pretty much every single thing. Okay? So a thing that kind of like threw me for a loop, and it was like the hardest but like most silliest thing that happened at the very beginning was trying to learn to live with each other, because I am organized to like almost too much for my own like health, well-being, and he is not. At least in his own things, like his own like personal things, not in with worth ethic and things. That's different. But that is something that threw me for a loop. Definitely. I was like, what? And we were having the dumbest arguments. Literally, the bath mat needs to go this way. No, it's going to go this way. Okay? And it was like, first 2 weeks of marriage. Like, what? Why are we arguing about this? This is a honeymoon stage. I think that's like the biggest thing that threw me for a loop. Again, guys, if you're thinking right now, oh, I think this is not something that's going to benefit me because I'm too young, this is like way into the future for me, this is also going to give you an insight on your parents' lives, okay? Whether they're together or they're not, okay? Hopefully this shows you that your parents are imperfect human beings that are also learning as they go to two people that are maybe different or maybe exactly the same, but they're used to living different lives. They're learning to live as one, okay? So keep that in mind too tonight.
Well, I guess it goes with what she was saying. Were you going to ask me or him?
I was going to talk.
Oh, he was. Oh.
What was the question again? I guess. I would have to say when we got in I mean, I'm really easygoing for the most part, right? No? I don't feel like I start most of the arguments or whatever. So, I mean, to me, it wasn't a big change just moving in with her. What? It's true. But the one thing is when there was an argument or something, and I don't talk, I just like shut down into because that's what I used to do at home. I just, okay, whatever, just my mom will cool off in a week. She just gets more steam within seconds. So, yeah, the one thing that shocked me most is that you have to communicate, you have to talk, and that's not my strong suit. So yeah, you need to let out whatever's inside your head. She always asks me, what are you thinking? Nothing. Nothing.
How do you think of nothing?
If I'm thinking about a TV show, like I gotta say, I mean, if it's unrelated to the argument, it's like I'm thinking about WandaVision. Yes, it's one more episode. But yeah, so I would just say learning to communicate. And I'm not saying it from experience, like I'm a master communicator now. I feel like I've increased by like 3% my communicating skills from zero back when I started. 1% a year, yeah, that's what you said? Exactly, so yeah, just be open with your spouse and let them know one day, because I don't even, she tells me all the time, you don't tell me when I do anything wrong, I'm always telling you. I'm like, it's not that. It's just I'm really like I don't know. I avoid conflict. That's not a good thing, though. That's not a good thing. Like I need to point out her things, like she points out my things, and we just need to be open with each other. What's that? Exactly.
But I want to learn. Like I really do.
You know. But she says everything she's thinking. I just nod. It's not good. Okay.
So that's good. Great question, for real. Come on, man. Give me a break. Madeline, question. What's up? So one of the most confident people I've ever met in my life, I married. You know, she's not worried about like what people think. You really don't. Not at the level that I do. I promise. I promise. Maybe you're a little nervous to talk in a microphone. You don't care. I wish. It's like a magic trick. It's like a superpower. I was like, how do you not care? I was like, I don't care. She's like, no, they're not good for my life. Cut, they're gone. I was like, what about, we love this person. Well, they're gone now. And it's like buried and everything, no ceremony. But I mean, as far as insecurities, like name any, and probably I have it. And so it's interesting, the polar opposite. For me, it's because I mean, this is something that I've been like really trying to be active about dealing with. It's like whatever you don't vocalize to yourself, it'll come out. As a defense mechanism, right? She'll point out something, and like as a criticism, or like as to correct, or to be like, yo, I don't like that, bro. Like, I have to be married to you for the rest of my life. I'm gonna tell you I don't like this. And if you didn't verbalize and work through that insecurity, you're gonna be like, well, don't come at me like that, or what is the deal? And there's yeah, ideally, but are you gonna do that? Like realistically, like it's hard to show the worst version of yourself to the person that you're trying to convince. Hey, you should marry me, but yes, you should work on your insecurities in a dating relationship. That's wonderful. But again, like I think there needs to be a level of commitment. You're not supposed to like expose your heart, uncover your heart to everyone. You know what I mean? That's not what that's for. So, but yeah, whatever you fail to deal with, like, will come out. So.
I think that eventually those insecurities, because sometimes we have insecurities, at least that's what's happened to me. And sometimes we have insecurities that we're not aware that we are insecure about, if that makes any sense. And that'll come out, obviously. If you have a healthy marriage, which that's the point of this, for you guys to have a healthy marriage in the future, it's going to come out. And it might be something that you weren't aware of. And then you can just be like, hey, look, so obviously this is a tender spot for me, or this is something that I worry about, or whatever. And then it's something that your spouse is going to always, hopefully, keep in the back of their mind. They're not perfect, so they're going to be like something that I didn't know was a thing of mine was, I don't like for people to criticize me. I don't handle criticism very well. It makes me feel like really like, like I did something wrong. So since he's my spouse, like I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean I did something wrong? Like, what do you mean? Of course, I'll show him every side that I don't show anybody else, because I feel more confident. I feel okay. I feel secure with him. But that was something that I had no idea that was a problem of mine. And once that came out, it was kind of like, hey, look, like not trying to criticize you, but this and this and this and that. And it's like, oh, okay. And then you try to work on it. You work on it together. Things start coming out. They don't have to come out while you're dating. If it's something that you want to share, then maybe. I wouldn't say don't share it right away. And share it as you're comfortable. Or you wait until marriage when it starts coming out.
I think personally that this question about insecurities it relates to the preparation stage that we were talking about. The way I see it is, that's why it's super important to know who you're marrying, and that person is on the same page as you. That, obviously that they're a Christian, but are they really a Christian? Are you guys doing, is this a biblical marriage? That I remember when I spoke to her dad once, we were on the table. He's like, what do you think about divorce? And I don't know if he said it right. I was like, it shouldn't be an option. Like, it's not on the table. Like, if you think it's an option, then you're going to take it. So if you guys both come with that covenantal mindset that I know you're not perfect, I know I'm not perfect, and I know I'm going to find out things that nobody knows, like I found about her, that she tells me, if my mom saw me doing this, she'd kill me. How many times I hear that? It's like, oh my God. So she knows my worst and I know her worst, and that's that covenant that you have with each other, that there's a safety net, and that's what's great about marriage, that even though they know the worst of you, you know, there's a covenant, there's a promise that they're never going to leave, that this is a for life thing. So yes, you have to work through insecurities, but when they come out, you know that there's that safety net, that your partner has a covenant with you. And that's why, again, that's what goes back to the preparation, that you're picking the right person, that you see that they're on the same page spiritually, and you know they have the same relationship with God that you do, or better.
Yeah, I think it's like if you have security in your relationship, it's an open area to have all the insecurities that you have. But if you have an insecure relationship, like you're just gonna hide all your insecurities. There is nothing that, I mean, that has to be your attitude. There's nothing that's gonna separate us. Like, we're gonna work through it all. So whatever you are, like who you are really, that's okay. Like, bring it out. It's fine. We'll work it. You know, ride or die. You got skeletons in the closet? Cool. You know, we'll throw them away, or put them in the garbage, or you did, huh? Use them for, yeah. It's like, and then like a relationship where there's secrets, like, and not like in a weird, evil way, but like I know things about my wife. My wife knows things about me, and like experiential, like she's seen me go through phases of my life that are terrible, embarrassing, the worst aspects of me. And like she's sitting right here, and like she's gonna go home with me tonight. Like, she's not running away, and she didn't run away then, and she's not gonna run away now. And that's confidence, right? That you can have, and it's tough because she's a sinner, she's human. I'm a sinner. I'm more a sinner and more human than she is. And like, we can make mistakes, but the confidence comes in saying like, hey, let's like you hit me or cheat on me, like this is for life. Like, we're gonna work this out. Like, we're mad, we're sad, we're upset, we're miserable for a little while. Like, we can afford to be miserable for a few months. Man, a year. What is a year to 35 years of memories and faithful marriage? Like, what's a year of suffering? It's nothing. It's a blip to like the greater gift of working it out. So yeah, and I mean, fantastic. Like, the idea that insecurity in the marriage is worse than like whatever personal insecurity you might have going into it. Like, you have to have a secure, you know, divorce is not on the table. Right? Huh?
And it's never thrown around.
It's not like an empty threat, you know? And again, like, we live in a world where like 50% of marriages end in divorce. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not pretending like I gotta, you know, my parents were divorced. You know what I'm saying? Like I get it. But the goal is, what we want for you is to say, man, like, I remember, like, they talked about this, and like, man, has to be a core value in my marriage. No divorce. Like, it's gonna get hard, it's gonna get difficult. They said it was, and it was only 3 years and it was difficult, and 9 years it was difficult. I imagine it's gonna be difficult in 20 and 30, but we have to have it a core value. Secure marriages, offer people freedom to be vulnerable. Donna, you had a question.
I would divorce.
That's all I've heard. Okay. That's all. Every person is different. I mean, that es algo que people don't usually ask, because it's not something that you go into marriage thinking like, oh, like this person's gonna cheat on me. I mean, of course, que Dios no quiera, pero that everybody is different. Everybody has different. Some people say, well, of course, it's not something that I want, but I'm willing to work it out. But yes, I side with my sister. Deuces.
I'll go insane and I'll kill him.
But there's also people that say that, and when they actually go through it, they have a. I'm not saying it's you. I'm just saying. Okay. Just saying that there's people. I mean, she also said, "I'm never gonna marry Ainer." Look at her now. Okay. Oh yeah, it's so different. I'm not saying that's her, but you know, life changes you, and people have different tolerance. And I'm not saying that if that happens, you won't be scarred for life. Like, you can forgive, but you'll definitely be scarred. But I mean, the Bible does give grounds for separation when it comes to that, right?
I mean, and when I say this, like, no one deserves that. You don't deserve that. You didn't earn that. Like, it's not like, hey, like, I got sick and so I wasn't able to be intimate with my wife or my husband. Like, you don't deserve that. Like, you know, I had a sickness that, you know, changed my body forever. Like, still don't deserve that. You know, like, he was away for 6 months, a year on deployment, so I cheated. You don't deserve that. Like, that's not like, hey, he hit me. Like, no, you don't deserve that. That is grounds for divorce. That is neglect. That is abandonment. That is the severancing of the covenant of marriage. You don't deserve that. You do not have to stay. But, like, and what you were getting to, and kind of what we're all saying is this, that, like, marriage is a covenant with a person that says, I'm going to be with you forever. And, like, and here's the deal. I don't know how I would react. Like if like I see Ruth in such a, like, high view as, like, it would be like if she was possessed, you know? Like, what did you do? You're crazy. I'll kill the guy because it wasn't you, right? But here's my thought process, and this is not to justify the action of cheating. That is definitely a terrible sin, and it ruins families and marriages. But it is the picture of the gospel. As much as I don't want to be Jesus in this picture, it is the picture of the gospel. When I am unfaithful to Christ, he is faithful to me. And marriages that have come on the other side of that, where there's honesty, transparency, healing, they spend some money in therapy, you know? Like, tell me, like, let's look at those marriages and see, like what couldn't they overcome? And so what I'm saying is this. I'm saying that as a Christian, like, there's life after death. Okay? There's life after moments of death. So that paints a perspective for all terrible things that could possibly happen. So but yeah, I'd be devastated.
And I wanted to say, also, if you guys notice, I don't know why, but guys seem to forgive that a little bit more, just a little more than a woman. And that's why I said it so quickly. That's my opinion for me. This is because I know my brain. I will not ever trust him again. I am scarred for life. That's how I am, because of things that have happened in my past. I cannot trust him. I just can't. But that's me. There are women that can tolerate that Jesus gives them the strength to do that. Like, I really do. But that comes from me. I also probably would go insane mentally. I would literally go insane. Like, I know it. I'm already insane. Imagine. So, and I will never let him breathe again. He'll leave the house and I'll be like, where are you going? Why are you going? Wait, where are you going? You're lying. So that's why I said, why live through that hell after when it would probably be better that we're not together after that? Do not ever do this to me. So then, I waited too long. So, yeah.
Don't mess it up, Ainer, Joe.
Yeah. Or I better not ever do it to you.
They don't mess up.
We never talk about the girls, but it's true. Like, it could happen to the woman too. Okay. So
and if the person, if the couple, the person that was cheated on decides to forgive, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. Yes, that relationship will forever be changed, but it could in the long run be changed for the better. Okay? There'll be years, I imagine, of recuperation and, you know, a lot of therapy and things, but there's nothing wrong with a couple that decides to stay together and work on it.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. You had a question. I'm gonna answer the question.
That was oddly specific.
Yeah, no. No. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what. Like, you don't know. Like, you don't know. I mean, I think about it. Like, how long do you do CPR on a patient that's gone? How long do you hold on? How many days do you leave them on life support? Like, bro, I don't know, man. Until that person decides, like, this is it. Because, I mean, you hear stories, miracle stories. Like 45 minutes later, after pounding this 8-year-old's chest, they come back to life and they live a full life. And you're like, hey, if I would have quit, like, what about the life that I could have had? So you don't, bro, if someone tells me, bro, my husband, my wife cheated on me, but I want to make it work, like, that's a fighter. That's someone that, like, sees something that no one else sees and is gonna get criticized by their family. If that happened to me, my brothers would disown me during the period of trying to reconcile. Like it would be so bad. Like, every guy would just dog me. And
No, for trying to work it out.
yeah, they would be like, oh, I can't believe you, you're this, you're that. They would name call. And the truth is, you just don't know. But what you can do is you can sit with that person and say, what do you feel like God is calling you to do? What do you think you need to do? I need to fight. And so then you push them. So yeah, I don't blame her, you know. And that's to be a good, faithful friend. Because why? Because what is the underlying thing? Like, I believe in marriage. Marriage creates structure to society, bro. Marriage is everything, dog. The family. I'm not saying, Joe, what if I don't get married? Like, that's not the point. Like what I am saying is, like, the building blocks of family, of structure, it's family, man. You know, and it doesn't always have to be conventional, but the conventional one works. And my daughter wakes up in the morning and doesn't think about anything except, like, let me get this yogurt, let me get this cheese, let me watch this cartoons.
That's what I think about.
Just like Ainer and my daughter are living exactly the same life, except he has a job and she reads books.
And I'm his mom.
But the point is, like, the marriage provides a structure to her, you know, in a way that, like, I know what it's like to wake up in the morning and be like, yo, what's going on here, dude? Like, there's instability, you know? And so that it's so important. Like, if you believe in marriage, bro, like, fight for marriage. What's another, that was a great question. What's another question? All right, we're going to hold the next question because we want to give someone who isn't as excited and ready to ask a question. Who else would have a question? Any guys besides Tony?
Yeah, well, Anthony's a guy.
I just said besides, comma, besides Tony. Yep. Any questions? Any of y'all have a question about, like, any of these things that we're talking about? Feel like we're just having a question. Oh, okay. Okay. Danette, what is your question? What are red flags? We can't get married? Yeah, like no compromise, right? We're gonna live in Atlanta. We're gonna live in Florida. Yeah, but yeah, you're not supposed to be married to them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to join the military out of high school, right? Yeah, I mean, no, it's not a big deal story. Yeah.
I've been talking.
Yeah, no, I mean, it felt like a no contest. We were kids, right? I mean, our story's weird, right? Because we're so little. But like, I guess like if you take this and exaggerate a little bit, maybe it relates to what you're talking about. Like, I wanted to join the military after high school, and Ruth wanted me to not join the military after high school, and we compromised. Here we are. But that was, but you know what I'm saying? Like it was definitely, you know, we were a young couple. I mean, practically, it probably wouldn't have worked. Practically, maybe it's a miracle that we're married anyway. We're high school. We were dating in high school, or like secretly dating in high school, whatever you want to say. Sorry if your dad's watching, but I know it's not a secret. It's a joke. But it probably wouldn't have worked practically, right? But for me, it was like, yeah, I'd rather be married to Ruth than to do anything else that's probably going to put strain on this young and you know budding relationship. But as far as red flags are concerned, like you have to have your expectations, ladies. You have to have boundaries and expectations. Like, you know what I mean? Here's a rule that I have for like if a lady will come to me, like a young girl will say like, hey, what do you think of this, that, and the other? And I don't really know the person, right? So they're asking me advice about a person I don't know. Like, I can't really give you a judge of character. I do say this. I always ask them, like, do they love God? Do they hate sin? Do they love God? Do they hate sin? And are they manly? Are they manly? Those are important, right? Like, he loves God, he comes to church. Like, no, I didn't ask you that. Does he hate sin? Right? And is he manly? Is he taking responsibility? Is he being proactive? Is he taking practical steps to be someone that he's not currently? Because here's the deal. You marry someone that doesn't love God, doesn't hate sin, and isn't manly, you're in a lot of trouble.
And the same for the woman. If she's not the same way, then she's not a woman for you.
Yeah. That's super important. Now, like, there are red flags that every person is going to see, and there are things that will break like no compromise for one person, and someone might have a little more grace and mercy. It's unmerited favor, really, to the person. Like, the truth is, like Ruth gave me grace upon grace for the mistakes that I, made and my shortcomings, and like she married me, and the truth is that it was because of love and because of wanting to compromise and be with a guy that, like it's scary. Like, let's just be real here. Like, it's scary to marry a dude that comes from a broken marriage. Because, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, it was an option for the old man. And the devil's in the details, right? Like, things happen in my life that were not, it's not just as simple to say that I was a divorced kid. But I did remember, like, while we were broken up, like, I got approached by a dad that I was trying to talk to this girl. And he's like, hey, your dad and your mom got a divorce. Like, what about you? You're going to get a divorce? Now, he wasn't a Christian, and he wasn't very nice, but he was very honest. And that stuck with me forever because it was like that's a red flag, Like, someone whose mental health is unchecked. I'm not saying you can't marry someone with anxiety. You know what I mean? Gosh, man, like, you can't marry anybody, right? Like, flip a coin. Someone's got something going on because we're human. But, like, someone who's not taking care of themselves. It's like, would you marry someone that doesn't shower ever? Never. You wouldn't. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't do that. Someone who struggled with showering once in a while, you would compromise maybe. But, like, someone who had just no mental hygiene, you would just be like, I can't, because, you're not getting married to be a therapist, okay? You want to be a therapist? Go be a therapist. Don't get married to your clients. You know what I'm saying? So that's a red flag. You were going to say something, though.
No, but sure. I guess the one thing, but I don't know how you'd be able to find this as a red flag. For me personally, it was that I was able to trust her, that I could, in a way that I could tell her anything. But I mean, I've known her for like 20 plus years. So she was one of the few people that I felt like I could tell this girl anything, and she won't, spread it around. There was very few people in church or girls that I could say that about, and that was a big thing for me, that I could literally confide in her, even before we were married, and I know that it was safe, that, you know, I had a real friend.
Both of them are false.
Exactly.
False. Okay? It's crazy. Like 3 years later, Ruth is like, hey, so remember this person? I was like, yeah. It's like, 3 years ago this happened. I was like, how did you keep this a secret? Because they asked me to one time over text. I was like, I can't keep a secret at all. You know, like, and I mean, I can, but like not like that. It's amazing. Like I'll like drop hints. Like I had no idea I was in the dark, and she knew everything. And like I think that's something that has to do with your last name. Y'all are like that, like Volts. Yeah.
That's exactly what
Yeah, Volts.
we
man.
were told as kids to be like that.
But I also feel, because I'm kind of like that too. I don't really, I'm like that times 20.
You want to keep a secret? Go to him.
Yeah.
He'll never even tell me. I won't ever tell him.
Everyone that in here has told me something secret is like, Joe, do you keep secrets? It's like, yes, I do, man. But like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just at a different level, bro.
Yeah,
It's
but
at a different. No, you don't know. You don't know many things, and I keep things, you know, because I respect people's privacy. But bro, does she like no hints, nothing? And it could be the silliest thing. It's like, yeah, I knew the name of the baby the whole time. I was like, why didn't you tell me? They asked me to keep a secret. It doesn't matter. Like I'm calling the baby by his name now. He's like, nope, she's great. You know, if you need to talk, this is a separate subject. If you need to talk to someone and you don't want anyone in the entire world to know, she will like literally go to the grave with your stuff. So hopefully it's not too bad so that I eat at you. No, just kidding. That's funny. Okay, what's another question? What about up there? Y'all like working and stuff like that? You have a question? What's up, bro? No question? One more question and we call it a night? Anthony? Diane? No? Ladies over here? Tony, you got a question? Huh? Did you have a question, bro? No? Ladies in the back, gentlemen in the back, nothing?
Alex, you have a question?
Oh, he has many questions. That boy is out, right? That's cool. Okay, what is your question, Louis? Yeah, what's your question? Oh, that's good. What does the Bible say about dating? Yeah, no, so it doesn't say anything. It also doesn't say like, you know, it doesn't tell you like the best way to sharpen a butcher's knife. It doesn't tell you like, you know, with the best APR rate for a house. It doesn't tell you like the pros and cons of HOAs. Like it doesn't tell you a lot of things, but it does give you like overview morals. And here's something that I want to say about that. Thank you for asking that question. There is this cultish-like behavior towards dating that says that you have to do all of these hoops and jump through all these processes to be able to like even like a person. Right? You have to guard your heart, because if you like someone with your heart, then you're making these soul ties, like silly, stupid things that I've said before and believed, okay? And like, oh, you can't, if you like him, then you have to marry him because you literally made a bond with your heart. And it's like, no. So dating is a phenomenon, right, that doesn't exist in the Old Testament. It doesn't exist in the New Testament because it was a different culture and different process. Like, girls didn't have the same rights as they do now. I think we live in a better context, right? Ladies should have a choice as to who they want to be with. Men should have a choice as to, you shouldn't be just like, you know, arranged marriages. Like, even though like arranged marriages work, like, you know, it's a different way to do it. Here's what I will say. The Bible does say a lot about like sexual sin, right? Like, hey, like don't do this, don't do that, or do this instead of certain sinful things. We are not to look at our girlfriends as our you know, pre-wives, right, or pre-husbands. And we're not test driving people. You test drive cars, you don't test drive people, but you do get to know people. One counsel that I give guys and ladies in here who would prefer a more forward and direct man, I tell them like, hey, if you think a girl's pretty and you see godly characteristics in them, and you would say, I would like to hang out with this girl, ask her out on a date. Not like, hey, should we go steady? You want to go to prom with me and wear my Letterman? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that you should be direct and say, hey, I would like to get to know you because after seeing you, I kind of like you. And you can ask her that, and then I think you should follow formalities, right? If she's 18 years old, 19 years old, living at home, you know, you can hit up the dad, send him, you know, make sure that you're staying in the loop, right? Maybe you're a little older and you're like, okay, like we're going to go out on, you know, on a coffee date, but I think that this person means something to me and I want to move forward with this. Maybe you should involve mom and dad because her parents are important to her. But this rigorous process of like fear and trembling to find a girlfriend, to find a girlfriend or a boyfriend is wrong. Like, it's wrong. Like, this is a great thing. Now, if you're 15 years old and sitting here like, yep, I like that, Joe. I think I'm going to do that tomorrow. It's like, nah, I'm not talking to you, dog. I'm not talking to you, my friend. Like, dude, like, do you know how to do geometry? No, neither do I. But like, you should learn, so you're not like this, right? You're in a different phase of life, right? But that doesn't mean you shouldn't have a ton of friends that are girls or a ton of, you know, friends that are guys. And please, like, find good friendships in the context of the church where not every guy is just thinking with his baser desires and emotions. That he's looking at you and saying like, hey, I'm a sinner, but that's my sister in Christ. Because the Bible says to treat her like my sister or my brother in Christ. So, but I don't ever want like to ever be a part of a culture that says, hey, let's make dating feel evil and wrong. Like, there are things that are wrong, and there are things that you should not do, right? And we can talk about that. But as far as like the excitement of like being at an age where you're like, man, I kind of want to see if this person might be a great fit for me, and we would be a great fit. We could work together to create a home and a marriage and a family. That's wonderful, and we applaud that. And some of you will get a little weirded out because, you know, this guy's asking her out, and that didn't work out, and he asked another girl in the church that he attends out on a date, and you're like, oh, that's weird. It's like, no, it's not weird. What do you want him to go to the club, to the bar? You want to find him a girl on the, you know, a girl or a guy on the street? Like, he's coming to church? You're like, oh, she found a boyfriend at Elevate. Oh my gosh. It's like, who cares? Who cares? It's a Baptist church. It's not even Lutheran or something like that. That's exciting. That's awesome. You know what I mean? That's awesome, right? Because, you know, like, hey, you know where we're looking? We're looking in church. We're looking for godly people that attend church, that are serving in Awana and, like, sweeping the floors and, like, going to youth group. That's fantastic. And so I want to just speak highly of it. Now, there's a lot of wrong things about dating that we could talk about, right? Like doing sinful things while you're dating. Or doing things that are reserved for marriage while you're dating. That's a whole other, like, this simple, right? I mean, it's complicated because it's difficult, but it's simple. Now, I don't know, man, I rambled a lot there, bro, but I don't.
But I wanted to say on the other side of that coin also, you should also date. I mean, dating is not wrong. I think it should be encouraged, but you should also have that mindset of, okay, I'm going to pursue this person because I believe that he or she is someone that I can spend the rest of my life with. Not that you have to, when you go on a date doesn't mean you have to marry that person, but that should be your end goal. It's not just like, oh, I want to go on a date so I can hang out with this girl and then she's going to start liking me and then I'm going to dump her so I could date another girl. There should be always a purpose or some kind of goal. Even if it doesn't work out, okay, you found out that wasn't the one for you or that person, you know, you weren't compatible. But if it's not, then, you know, end it quick and move on, but not, you know, leave those things lingering. So there should always be that end goal in mind.
Yeah, I think about it as like a guy with a shovel, right? And then he's digging a hole. And you're like, what are you looking for? I don't know. Like, what are you doing? So what are you doing?
Bro, just dig.
I'm just digging, you know? Like, you're an idiot. Go home, man. Like, hey, what are you doing? Like, well, I'm looking for gold. Like, all right, bud. Like, good luck, man. You know, but, you know, what's your purpose? Like, what are you doing? Like, oh, no, I'm looking for a wife. Fantastic. Your heart is in the right place. Oh, I didn't marry her. Like, I didn't ask you if you married her, bro. I just, like, what is your business? You know? Like, what do you want? What are your intentions with my daughter? What are your intentions with my son? Like, I like them, and when I see them, both physically and who they are as a person, that this is the kind of person that I would like to be with. Maybe I won't be with this person, but it's the kind of person that I would like to be with. And I hope that they would like to be with me, right? It's a two-way street here. So, but yeah, you're absolutely right.
And when you said that about the 15-year-old, I was thinking, what's your purpose? I just want a 10-year girlfriend, you know?
10-year
That's
girlfriend.
not a thing.
No, what you want is 10 years of
No.
silliness. One of the dumb 15-year-olds that I was. That's me. That's me. The person in the story is me. I was 15, so.
But you didn't have a 10-year girlfriend.
No, I didn't. It was 5 years and 4 months. So, anyway.
But there was a purpose too.
There
from
was
the
a
beginning.
purpose.
Exactly.
No, like I was 16, and like, who would believe a 16-year-old? I don't believe many 16-year-olds when they say things like that. But I told her over there in the little basketball court. It used to be a park for children. It evolved. Yeah. It was a park and a basketball. Now, and I told her, like, this was like a week into like just talking. I was like, I'm gonna marry you one day. That's like scary stuff. You don't tell that to you. But I told her, and I was right. I was right. Look at me. No, she was normal. She's everything normal. She's normal. She was 15, then she was 16. She was a kid, and I was nuts. And you're like, you're crazy. Yeah, I remember you saying something like that. Anyway, guys, this has been fun. Thank you. Oh, you have a question? Yeah, one last question, and then we are. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you are.
Well,
Yeah.
something we did early on was, and Joe was the one to be like, hey, like, it's time, like, let's go do this, was every Sunday, because we weren't allowed to call each other.
I remember I'd see him right there.
We would, exactly.
Pray.
We would sit right there every Sunday after service, and we would pray, okay? If you guys have the time, if you guys are more steady than we were at 15 and 16, then I would say dedicate one day, like an hour, 45 minutes, to do a devotional. You guys are studying a book together. I would say that would be it's not going to be the only devotional you do that every day with your couple. Like that's, oh, I did my devotional today with him, so I'm done for today. No, like keep on with your daily devotional. And I think that studying the word together and praying so that you guys are staying in tune with the goal, with what is it that you guys want to achieve together, what is it that you guys want for each other, for him, for yourself. That's something that you should do too. Prayer, reading the Bible together, one time a week.
No,
that's
you're
okay.
done. No, that I was saying that I think this shouldn't bear any effect on your personal relationship with God. It should just be an addition, but that your relationship with God should be a whole other thing separate, because that should remain unaffected. It should bring you closer, but I don't want to say it's on the same coin as gathering with the church, because it's not, but it's something similar. Like the church doesn't really affect your personal relationship with God. Neither should your gathering with your spouse. So that what I almost boyfriend. Yeah, I think that your personal relationship is even more important than that. If you have one with your boyfriend or your spouse, but not one yourself, I would question the authenticity of it. Because why are you really going to God? Is it to look good in front of your boyfriend, or is it because you want to really be closer together to God?
Yeah, and I know that there are people who will say like you shouldn't even pray with one another until you get married or until you're engaged. I've heard this. Yeah, you shouldn't even pray or read the Bible together. It's a practical step that a lot of like Americans do. Like I know a lot of my American friends were like, yeah, we don't do that. And so it's I haven't thought about it enough. to like really tell you like that's right or wrong. I think that everyone needs to think about the intentions behind what they're doing. It was nice to be able to come together and pray. It's something that like I think we did pretty consistent. The Bible study we didn't do pretty consistent. That's something that even now like we're like I'm listening to us talk about it. I'm like, we need to like do that. You know, we need to do more of that. Like, you know, Bible reading. It's not just taking care of babies and like making life happen. Like we need to stop and like make, you know, check up on each other spiritually. And so that's important. But as a spouse, that's important. But the boyfriend and girlfriend relationship can be a little tricky because you're like, hey, are you reading your Bible? Like, hey, are you like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it can be a little tricky. I would say like every individual case is different, but like boyfriend and girlfriend is singleness. That is singleness. It's dating, but it's singleness. So like you are working on yourself and working together. I agree with you. If you want to do that once a week, that's fine. But the man always should show signs of leadership while you're dating. Like that should come from him. Like it should come from him. You know, he is the head of the house. It don't matter, ladies. Some of you girls are going to make a lot of money, and he's going to, you know, draw pictures on the computer, you know, for a marketing company and make $20,000 a year. Maybe. I mean, we live in a different world, but he should lead in the home direction, spiritual, the moral, like how we do things. Like I'm like Ruth and I are constantly talking about like how we want our home to look like, and like I set the tone for that. Like, hey, we want to be a house of grace, a house of forgiveness, of mercy, of understanding. I want my daughter to feel like she can come and talk to us about anything, about how she ruined her life, and she can come and tell us. Like, and we talk about that. I have to set the pace for that. Like, even though she's more mature and more wise in many, many ways, like it's still my responsibility. And so you want to see those leadership qualities in the man that you're talking to. So that's a great question. I think we're done, and we've extended our time by a lot, but I think this is fun. This is a good way to end the series. If you have questions, send them to us. And like, you know, Ruth is here, Einer's here. I know that sometimes we don't get to see Ruth as much as we want, like, you know, challenges of being a mama, and I really appreciate her, you know, and the fact that like what I know about marriage is in great part because of what like she teaches me as I'm married to her, and so I think that that everything that you guys get to enjoy from, let's say, Sarah or I, and as far as like the teaching and all the stuff that we do is in great part because of the people that we're married to. So we love you guys. We want to see you tomorrow at 9:30 or at 11, and also young adults at 7 o'clock. We want to see you. Be here then. We're going to talk about this stuff, but it's just going to be Q&A. And we'll just continue to talk about this. Any questions that you might have regarding this subject, let's pray, and then we'll be dismissed, okay? Father, thank you for these young people. Thank you for the time that we can spend thinking about your word and thinking about how we should live, how should we prepare. God, help us look forward to marriage and to do the right thing now so that we can enjoy the benefits of your blessings as we do the right thing, God, that will set up our lives to enjoy all the wonderful things you have planned for us. I ask you that you would bless the rest of this night and keep us safe. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Bye.